Okay. Good evening, everybody. This evening we're going to look at global language. So let's wait a few moments and see if anybody arrives in the webinar. Hmm, no one yet. Hmm, let's see. So someone's arrived. Hey, introduce yourself. Tell us all about yourself. Who are you? Where are you from? What do you do? Hmm, oh, four people. Fantastic. Good evening, everyone. I hope you're all well. If you want to introduce yourself, tell me a little bit about yourself before we start, that would be fantastic. So I'll tell you about me. My name's Michael. I'm from Ireland and I live in Napoli. And obviously, living in Napoli, I love pizza. Fantastic. Anyone like to introduce themselves? Tell me where you're from, what you do, what Maya is studying, um, where you live. Okay, well, let's move on. So we're going to look at global language. We're going to look at having a friendly debate. We're going to look at phrases for presenting your position and for asking opinions. We're going to look at phrases for agreeing and for disagreeing. Okay. So at any time, if you'd like to introduce yourself or ask any questions in the chat box, please feel free. Don't be a stranger. Okay. Here we have some questions. So, do you think the world needs a global language? And could translation be used instead? It's a very interesting question. Which language should be used as a global language and why? Again, that's a hot topic, definitely. And what do you think is causing such a huge demand for English? So, number one, do you think the world needs a global language? Do you think yes? Or do you think no? What do you think? And could translation be used instead? So, um, in my opinion, I don't think the world needs a global language. I think there's many languages in the world, and that's something very, very, very beautiful, definitely. It's a window to a culture, the language, and I think it's part of a nation's identity also. Even though in some nations you have more than one language spoken, um, but language is very important. Maybe we need a global language for things like, I don't know, trade or industry, or for example, music or diplomacy. But in general, a global language for everything in the world, I think could be a little bit boring, really. I'm not sure. What do you think, guys? Does anyone have an idea or an opinion on whether or not the world needs a global language? What do you think? Mhm. And could translation be used instead? Um, Let me just type something. Translation. V. Okay, translation, in my opinion, is something that's different from interpretation. So the translation is only as good as the interpretation of the person who is doing the translation. Okay, and I think you can find this in many books that have been translated from one language to another. For example, one of my favorite authors is an author called Murakami. And for me, it depends on which person is the translator of the book. There are different translators, but there's one in particular who is fantastic. So, translation, I think, all depends on the interpretation of the person who's doing the translation. Um, I think we all feel languages in a different way. We all speak in a different way. We have different vocabularies. We interpret things in our own special way, also. So, translation, I think, is not a good idea. Oh, we have an answer. Yeah, Daniela, I completely agree with you. The world doesn't need a global language. It's really interesting to learn new languages. Exactly. If we had a global language, it would take all the fun out of learning a new language. For example, if you want to learn a language correctly in the best way, you should go and immerse yourself in that country, in that culture. So, if we had a global language, where would we travel to learn a language? If you want to learn English, it's a good idea to go to Ireland, England, Australia, America, and immerse yourself in the culture and in the language. So, yeah, it's very interesting to learn a new language. I completely agree, Daniela. Good answer. Well done. Does anyone else have an answer they'd like to share about whether or not the word needs a global language? And could translation be used? Mhm. Okay. If not, let's move on. Yeah, completely agree as well, Daniel. Which language should be used as a global language and why? Okay. Do you have any idea which language should be used as a global language and why? So, for example, we have some options. We have English, Chinese, or Spanish. Maybe English. For me, that would be the easiest. English, Chinese, or Spanish, these are the three most widely spoken languages in the world. But Daniela thinks that a global language should be maybe English. Okay, very good. Anyone else have any other answers? Um, yeah, I think I agree, Daniela. I think it also is almost like an unofficial global language. It's spoken in a lot of places in the world. It's used in the flight industry. So pilots usually speak in English. I think in shipping as well, they speak in English. So yeah, it's more or less an unofficial global language. Um, for me personally, it would be very easy if English was used as a global language because I'm a native speaker. Uh, and the reason is because you love English. Fantastic, Daniela. Well done. I like your answer. Yeah. Chinese could be very difficult to learn because of its alphabet and the how it's spoken. Spanish could be a lot easier to learn than Chinese. So maybe English or Spanish could be a very good global language because they're easy to learn and they're very widely spoken already. But I like this answer. It's a very good answer. At the moment, What do you think is causing such a huge demand for English? So, why are so many people looking to learn English at the moment? What's the reason? Is one of the reasons that it's becoming a the global language, or is it because people love to learn it? Which one? What do you think is the reason English? There's such a huge demand for English at the moment. What do you think? So I don't know. I'm not sure why there's such a huge demand for English in the world, other than it's something that people are looking for and something maybe that employers or universities are asking for. So maybe there's a massive demand at the moment for English in the world. Yeah, it's important for work. I agree. Lots of people need it for their jobs or to study as well. If you want to study in a native English speaking country, obviously you need English. So one of the reasons, definitely, yeah, it's important for work. So I'll give you another moment or two if anyone else would like to have a go at answering any of these questions. So do you think the world needs a global language? And could translation be used instead? Um, if we were to have a global language, which language should be used as the global language and why? And at the moment, what do you think is causing such a huge demand for English? What's the reason? Okay, another minute and see if anyone would like to give me their opinion or their idea on these questions. Okay, if there are no more answers, we can move on. So let's look at some debate language. Okay, asking for an opinion. So, what are your thoughts about? Okay, how do you feel about? So, if you're looking for someone's ideas, opinions, or thoughts, you can use these two sentences. What are your thoughts about, I don't know, an apple on pizza, for example? So, what are your thoughts about pineapple on a pizza? What do you think? Um, or how do you feel about pineapple on a pizza? Mhm. Um, you can answer with, as far as I'm concerned, it's terrible. Or you could say, personally, I think it's a wonderful idea. I don't know. So, people tell me, what are your thoughts about pineapple on a pizza? Mhm. As far as I'm concerned, it's terrible, delicious, fantastic. Personally, I think it's horrendous, it's wonderful. I don't know. What do you think? Tell me. Tell me what your thoughts about pineapple on a pizza. What are they? Mhm. Does anyone have any answers or any opinions they'd like to share about pineapple on a pizza? Mhm. What do you think? So, for me, as far personally, okay, we have an answer here. Personally, I think that if you're Italian in general, you wouldn't like it. Mhm. I agree. I think even other people who aren't Italian might agree also. Is an answer from Valeria. I think it's better to eat the pizza in the Neapolitan style. But in my opinion, it's important to be open minded and try new experiences. Yeah, well, I think that's a good answer also. You can try it, and if you don't like it, you don't have to try it again. Okay. Um, as so, for example, as far as I'm concerned, I think pineapple should never go on a pizza. Okay. So, in my opinion, as far as I'm concerned, I think pineapple should never go on a pizza. But I guess it's important to be open minded and try new experiences. But also, it's probably not a good idea, according to Daniela. So here we have some nice answers. Nice answer from Valeria. Very good. Be open minded, try new ideas, but the best pizza is this Neapolitan style. I agree. Pineapple on a pizza, mm-mm, not a good idea. Mhm. Okay, we have a very interesting answer here. Pizza with Nutella, for example, but pineapple, no. Mm. Okay, that's very, very, very curious and interesting answer indeed. Um, Let me just post that question. We have a very strong answer from Luca. Personally, I think that no one should put any fruit on a pizza. Okay, very good answer. Good answer. Have I ever tried Nutella on a pizza? No, I haven't ever tried Nutella on a pizza. Let's see. How do you feel about Nutella on a pizza? So, how do you feel about Nutella on a pizza? So, Luca, Nutella is not a fruit. What's your opinion, Luca, on Nutella on a pizza? And Valeria, what do you think about Nutella on a pizza? According to Daniela, I should try it. Okay, I think I will. I'll try it whenever we can escape our quarantine. How do you feel about Nutella on a pizza? It's a very curious Nutella and pizza. Okay, so asking for an opinion. What are your thoughts about? What are your thoughts about pineapple on pizza? What are your thoughts about Nutella on pizza? Oh wow, we have another curious answer. Personally, I love it. I could kill someone for a good Nutella, a good Nutella pizza right now. Okay, so I'm beginning to think that maybe Nutella does belong on a pizza. I have two ladies that have told me it's fantastic. Okay, Luca, he thinks different. He thinks pizza with Nutella, it's no longer a pizza. Okay, I guess that makes sense. Okay, and now Daniela feels hungry because we're talking about pizzas and Nutella. Very good. And Valeria, give me five, Daniela, my friend. Fantastic. Uh, and Daniela has just given Valeria five. Okay, fantastic. Well done, guys. Lots of conversation and ideas going. Let's keep it going till the end. Fantastic. Luca, try asking someone from Naples to put some Nutella on a pizza. Okay, Luca, I live in Naples, and I won't ask anyone to put Nutella on a pizza, just in case. Okay, fantastic. Okay, guys, well done. Very, very good. Some interesting answers. Okay, so what we were speaking about before, Nutella on a pizza and pineapple on a pizza. So, phrases for agreeing. I totally agree with you. I couldn't agree more. I completely agree. Okay, let's have a look here. Daniela. I live in Salerno, which is very, very close. We're almost neighbors. And they use Nutella on pizza with good results. Okay. Um, I think you've convinced me. Danielle and Valeria, you've definitely convinced me. I'm going to look for Nutella pizza. Sorry, Luca. So I totally agree with you. I couldn't agree more, or I completely agree. Okay. So if I say, should Nutella be on a pizza? You would say, yes, I totally agree with you. Should pineapple be on a pizza? You can say, I'm sorry, I can't agree with pineapple on a pizza. So phrases for disagreeing. I'm sorry, I can't agree with pineapple on a pizza, or I can't agree with Nutella on a pizza. I'm afraid that isn't right, or I'm not so sure about that. Okay, so pineapple and Nutella on a pizza. If you want, very quickly, give me, type in on the box what a phrase for agreeing or a phrase for disagreeing. So let's see. Pineapple. Oh, we have a new Bruno. Let's see, Bruno. Bruno disagrees. I don't understand pizza with Nutella. It's horrible. Okay. And Luca, I would never eat a pizza with Nutella plus mozzarella and tomato. Okay, interesting. So, with pineapple, do you agree or do you disagree? Stay safe, guys. Thank you, Luca. And you too. Stay safe. Pineapple, agree? Disagree? No, Luca, just Nutella. Okay. So the pizza only has Nutella. It doesn't have tomatoes and it doesn't have mozzarella. Not with other things. Okay. Okay. Is that a pizza? Does it is it still count as a pizza? Bruno? Nah, completely disagree. Okay. Very good. Why, Bruno? Tell us why you disagree. What's your reason? Uh-huh. And then Valeria? Only with Nutella. So it's the pizza, the base, and Nutella only. Okay. It's a dessert. Okay. um, Daniela just said he understood with tomatoes. No. Yeah. Well, I be honest. I too understood with tomatoes. So, but thank you for educating me. Well done. So, agreeing phrases. I totally agree with you. Bruno's come up with a very new and interesting Nutella and pineapple pizza. Okay, Nutella and pineapple pizza. What do you think, you guys? Nutella and pineapple. This was Bruno's idea. pizza with Nutella and pineapple. Could you agree or would you disagree with this type of pizza? I don't know. Maybe try it once and see. Um, and if you don't like it, don't try it again. Very clear answer from Bruno. I can't agree with someone who wants to eat pizza with pineapple or Nutella. Okay. What's your favorite pizza, Bruno? Okay. Some very good use of the language. Well done, guys. I totally agree with Valeria. I'm sorry, I can't agree with Luca. Well done. Very good. Using the phrases for agreeing and disagreeing. Also, Bruno using the phrases for disagreeing. Well done. Good work, guys. Mhm. So, one more moment. Valeria, do you have an answer for us? Pizza with Nutella and pineapple? What do you think? I think for me personally, no. I don't know. I, with neither. But I'm going to try the Nutella pizza for sure. Pizza? Eating with pizza with fish or jam? Okay, jam. Jam or ham? Very good. Good answer, Bruno. Pizza with fish or jam. But is jam or ham? For example, jam. eh, there we go. Sorry, ham. Okay. Well done. Pizza with ham? Completely agree. Delicious. I love it. With fish? Yeah. Some pizzas with fish. Valeria? Always open to new tastes. So why not? Yeah. I like that idea. I like that idea. Very good, Valeria. Ham, just in case we forget, it's ham from Bruno. Okay, Bruno. Okay, guys, fantastic. Well done. Some very nice use of the language. Let's move on. We have some more questions. So, which side are you on? So now we're not going to talk about Nutella and pineapple on a pizza. We're going to talk about global languages. So, do you think having a global language is a threat to individual cultures? Okay. Do you think having a global language is a threat to individual cultures? What do you think? Um, so, can you separate culture and language? For me, I think it's impossible. Um, a language is like the window to a culture. It's the two of them are completely solid together. You can't separate one from another. That's just my opinion. But if anyone has any other opinion that they'd like to share, that would be welcome. So, is having a global language a threat to individual cultures? Okay. Um, Maybe not a threat to cultures. Maybe it will make communication easier. It doesn't necessarily, in my opinion, have to be a threat to a culture. But you can't separate culture and language. So it's a very deep question, one that you could talk about for a long time. If English is the global language, which standard should we use? So the standard is, for example, it's like um, the English standard that they use, for example, in England, the RP English, with the very good pronunciation. As you probably can hear, I'm not English, I'm Irish, and we have a very distinct accent. Sometimes it's very difficult to understand Irish people. Sometimes it's very difficult to understand Scottish people. Okay? We have a very strong accent. Okay, Bruno thinks there isn't a language that threat another language or culture. Okay, yeah, good answer. I agree. But do you think a global language could be a threat to cultures? So if everybody spoke English, do you think it would be a good thing or a bad thing? And why? Or if everyone spoke Chinese, would it be a good thing or a bad thing? Or if everyone in the world spoke Italian, for example, would it be a good thing or a bad thing? What do you think? Also, in English, there are many different standards. So, for example, there's an American standard, they have their own phonetic chart. In British English, they have their own phonetic chart. There's little differences in pronunciations and grammar and spelling. Um, I guess in Australia as well, there's differences in pronunciation. Ireland, Scotland, New Zealand. Mhm. So, which standard should we use? Okay, all threats are important and representative of their own culture. Okay, it's a very interesting statement, Bruno. But a very good answer. Well done. Good answer. Okay, so if English. Okay, here we go. Daniela. Personally, I think we should use the English standard. Okay, maybe. Um, Valeria. As far as I'm concerned, to have the possibility to use a language understood from most of the people in the world is an advantage. Okay. Yeah, I think that's a valid point. Yeah, it's an advantage for communication, for sure. I completely agree. Bruno prefers the American language because in America you can pronounce the R. Okay, good. So we have advantages for communication. Daniela would like to use the English standard to sound like the Queen of England. Okay, very good answers, everyone. Fantastic. Well done. Any more ideas or opinions that you'd like to share? What standard should we use? What do you think, Valeria? What do you think, Bruno? What standard should we use in English? Thank you, Valeria. A very nice comment from Valeria. I like your accent. Thank you. It's an Irish accent. um, any more ideas or opinions? Or anyone else would like to share their ideas or opinions about global language? So, is having a global language a threat to cultures? For example, if everyone spoke English, would it be a threat to a culture? Um, if English was the global language, which standard should we use? Okay. Bruno used to speak American English. Okay. Good answer. Fantastic. Um, Daniela, I think the ability to understand others go beyond language. Wow. That's a very deep answer, Daniela. Well done. I agree completely with that. Communication verbally is only a small thing. Um, well, it's a huge thing actually, but the ability to understand people definitely goes beyond language for sure. Um, there's something deeper than language when you truly understand a person. So yeah, it's a very good answer. Well done. Bruno, you prefer American English. Daniela, you prefer English English. What about Valeria? What do you think? What would your standard be? So if you have any more answers, guys, keep them coming. Lots of very interesting and fantastic answers this evening. Well done. At least I try. Good, Bruno. That's the best. That's all you can do is to try. Try your best. Okay. Valeria. Your uncle is Scottish, so okay. And can you understand your uncle? The Scottish accent sometimes can be very difficult to understand. Um, so yeah, well done. So asking for an opinion. What? Okay, another answer here from Daniela. Empathy is central in communication. Wow, that's a very deep answer, very good answer as well. Yeah, empathy and communication. Okay, let's find out what the other people think. Empathy. Let's talk about this for a little moment. Empathy and communication. So, do you think, people listening, that empathy is a very important part of communication? Can you communicate well without empathy? What do you think? I think that's a very interesting statement. For me, I think you can communicate without empathy, but you can't communicate deeply. But you need empathy to communicate deeply and in a way that the person understands you completely. Empathy is important. Without empathy, the communication I think is very empty. What do you think, guys? What do you think, Valeria, Bruno, or anyone else who's listening or watching? What do you think? Is empathy important in communication? Any ideas? Hmm? Couldn't agree more. Fantastic. Any other ideas, guys? So, empathy and communication. Or, if you have no ideas, okay, Bruno, let's hear what Bruno has to say. I think every language has its place. For example, okay, tell us, Bruno. For music is important, the Italian language. Completely agree. Mhm. So, different languages have important purposes throughout life or throughout the world. Um, I agree completely. Italian language is very important in classical music, for sure. Um, any other ideas? Every language has its place. For example, what would be the place of English? Where does English fit into everything? Um, not in music for English, no. Trade. Very good, Bruno. Completely agree. English language is very important for trade. Hmm. Valeria, yeah. Empathy, 90% of the communication process. Definitely. So if you have empathy, you can communicate 90%. Without empathy, maybe your communication is only 10%. So the message doesn't really go in, doesn't go very deep. Yeah, very good answers. Well done. Well done, Valeria. Well done, Daniela. Well done, Bruno. Good. Good interaction. Um, any other languages that are important? What about French? French, I think, was the language of diplomacy in the past. In hundreds of years ago, it was the language of the diplomats, I think. Okay. So let's look over these debate language phrases one more time. So, for example, Daniela, also music, I guess. I can't imagine the Queen's music without English. Okay, the Queen, as in the band, or the Queen. Which one? Um, yeah, a lot of popular music is in English, very famous. I think because of the UK and America and Australia, they're massive markets where artists can sell a lot of records and make a lot of money by singing in English. The band of Freddie, yeah. Queen the band, okay. Thank you. Not the Queen of England. So yeah, English is important in music because it's a territory where people can sell their music. Um, Maybe the Spanish, for example, Spanish music, Latin music is massive in Spain, massive in South America. Bruno is a very nice. I love the Queen. Very good, Bruno. Queen the band or the Queen of England? Which one? Sorry, Queen. I understand. Um, okay, let's have a little debate. What are your thoughts about um, I don't know, school uniforms? Usually a hot topic. Get people talking. So, what are your thoughts about school uniforms? What do you think? Do you think children should wear school uniforms? Or do you think, no, no way, it's a waste of time. Children should never have to wear school uniforms. What do you think? So, for example, presenting your opinion, as far as I'm concerned, I think school uniforms are very important. Personally, I think um, it's something that all schools should adopt. If you agree with me, I totally agree with you. I couldn't agree more, or I completely agree, or you disagree. I'm sorry I can't agree with you on that. I'm afraid that isn't right. Or I'm not so sure about that. Okay. Bruno has a question or a statement. However, it depends on the type of music. What's your favorite type of music? Would anyone like to answer? What's your favorite type of music? Bruno, what's your favorite type of music? Or what are your thoughts on school uniforms? What do you think? Hmm. So Bruno, when he's a little boy, used to wear a uniform. Yeah, me too. Uniform until I was 18 in school. Daniela, as far as I'm concerned, it's important to make people equal in school. Hmm. Yeah, good answer. Valeria, personally, I think that thanks to school uniforms, all the social differences could be crossed over. Yeah, I definitely agree. I agree with all of you. Wearing a uniform is a good way to hide social differences. For example, not all kids come from rich families, or not all kids come from poor families. Making people equal in school, yeah, that's a very good point. And personally, for me, I think in school, your focus should be academic achievement. Obviously, learning, being happy, developing, having a good time, building relationships, building yourself as a person. But your overall goal in school is to try and be the best you can. I don't think wearing a uniform or not wearing a uniform will stop a person being the best that they can. Okay. Valeria, classical musician. Ah, okay. Fantastic. What instrument do you play, Valeria? Tell me. Bruno, a musician too? Tell us what instruments you play. Bruno likes jazz music. Okay, cool. Cool, guys. So tell me, Valeria, you're a musician. What do you play? Or Daniela, Bruno, do you play any instruments? Or anyone else hiding in the chat, would you like to tell us if you play an instrument and what's your favorite type of music? So, what are your thoughts on classical music? Hmm. A flautist. Fantastic, Valeria. Well done. Beautiful. It's a beautiful instrument. Mhm. In Ireland, there was a very famous flautist called James Galway. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's very famous long time ago. Very talented. Mhm. So I play the guitar and general string instruments. Cool. Very good. Fantastic, Bruno. Flautist. Yeah, it's okay. Daniela prefers dancing. She studied classical modern dance. Until last year, I did Latin dance. Fantastic. I like dancing too. And of course, Valeria has heard of James Galway. Of course, she has. Hmm. He's very talented, very, very talented musician. Okay. Um, or what are your thoughts on classical dancing? Does anyone have any thoughts or opinions on classical dancing? Oh, fantastic. Valeria had a serious number of master classes with James Galway. Wow, you're very lucky. You must be very talented, Valeria, if you've had a master class with James Galway. Hmm. Valeria loves ballet. Fantastic. Until 5 years ago, Bruno taught Latin dance. Oh, so where I'm speaking with a group of very talented people, not only intelligent in English, but also very talented in music and dance. I'm very lucky on this Wednesday evening, and Roberto Bolle as well. Yeah. So um, let's just recap before we end the webinar. So, what are your so Daniela loved classical dance, but didn't feel free why she danced it. Okay, so give me an answer using as far as I'm concerned, or personally, I think. Okay, guys. So before we go, just give me one answer using as far as I'm concerned, or personally, I think, about something that we were talking about this evening. It could be about pineapple on a pizza. It could be about Nutella on a pizza. It could be about a global language. It could be about a pronunciation, English or American. It could be about dance. It could be about music. It could be about anything. So just give me a quick answer about your opinion on something that we spoke about this evening. Mhm. And now Bruno is dedicating himself to music in general, pop and jazz. Okay, pop, jazz, music, and English. Okay, you're very talented, Bruno. You have lots of talents. English and music. Well done. So let me give you my opinion. As far as I'm concerned, pineapple does not belong on pizza. Personally, I think I will try Nutella pizza when I am legally allowed to leave the house. Um, as far as I'm concerned, a global language has its advantages and disadvantages. Personally, I think music is fantastic. And as far as I'm concerned, I love dance also. So, any more? So personally, I think you have to try pizza with Nutella. I will for sure, Daniela, but definitely not with tomato or other salted things. Okay, thank you for the advice. Nutella without tomato. Thank you, Daniela. Any more answers before we end the webinar? Okay, so it's time to leave. Daniela, Bruno, and Valeria, you have been amazing. Thank you very much. Bruno, what's my favorite food? My favorite food, as I live in Napoli, is margarita pizza. It's the best. It's amazing. I absolutely love it. And I wish I could have a margarita tonight. But I'm going to try the Nutella pizza for sure. So, Daniela, Bruno, and Valeria, thank you very much for your participation. You've been amazing, guys. Some fantastic answers, some very intelligent answers also. And you're all a group of amazingly talented people. Okay. So, guys, have a lovely evening and please stay safe. Okay. And look, um, when do I have other lessons? I don't know, Valeria. Maybe next week. Let's see. Keep an eye out. Okay, guys, take care. Look after each other. Bye. Bye.